Chapter 42. 60 seconds. Inside the darkened bathroom, Chen Ge sat alone inside the bathtub. He breathed in and out, circulating the air inside his lungs. The time noted on the black phone was precisely 3:42 a.m. He only had one chance, so he had to be careful. The room was quiet, and he could not hear anything from outside the corridor. The monster from the mirror did not seem to be around. Time ticked by. Chen Ge put the electronic watch he had brought purposely for this occasion on his side. When the digits changed to 3:43, he trained his focus and opened his mouth wide to slowly take in his breath. As the candlelight flickered, Chen Ge slowly submerged his body into the water. His eyes were glued to the electronic watch. He had never been so focused in his life before. When the digit changed again, Chen Ge slipped underneath the water surface without hesitation. It was finally 3:44 a.m. The icy water flooded him from all sides. Submerging oneself in a bathtub filled with water in the middle of the night, the experience was unique to say the least. The water numbed the senses, and it felt like there was nothing but darkness and oneself slowly falling into the abyss. There was complete silence other than the pounding of one's heart inside one's ears. The icy water pulled every sensory receptor in one's body taut. Lying inside the bathtub, Chen Ge abandoned all thoughts as he listened to his heartbeat and started the countdown. 60 seconds. I only need to hold on for 60 seconds. This was the first time he had done something like this as well. The surface of the water seemed to merge with the darkness. The candlelight, which felt like it was going out, drifted away from Chen Ge like he was slowly falling into the ocean. 1, 2. After the initial 10 seconds, time seemed to have slowed down. The sound of water attempted to swallow even his heartbeat. All he could see was darkness. Chen Ge repeated his parents' names in his heart and held his pose with both his hands, holding the cleavers and allowing his body to be carried along by the flow of the water. The oxygen in his lungs was fast depleting. Chen Ge was starting to feel uncomfortable, like something heavy was pressing down on his body. 15, 16. Every time his heart pumped, it exhausted the oxygen inside his lungs. As his heart slowed, so did the time. Every second felt like an eternity. The feeling of discomfort intensified. It felt like a pair of hands was pressing down on his neck, slowly tightening around it. Chen Ge opened his eyes, but underneath the water he was unable to see anything. It felt like he had traveled to another world and was trapped in it. 3 or 4 seconds later, his face turned startlingly white. How long has it been? Should be over soon, right? Suddenly, there was a violent ripple that crossed the surface, and a weird sound crossed through the heavy silence. The sound seemed to come from the outside corridor. Chen Ge had no idea how he managed to hear it so clearly. Perhaps it was something done on purpose to distract his focus. Footsteps? Someone is walking outside the corridor? His heartbeat, which had slowed, started to race, and his body tensed involuntarily. That is probably the mirror monster. Hopefully the dolls will be able to hold it off for another 30 seconds for me to finish the mission. His brain slowed to a crawl, and a buzzing sound appeared in his ears. Chen Ge was not doing so well, and the footsteps from the corridor only made it worse. He tried his best to focus and continued to repeat his parents' names internally as he returned to counting his heartbeat. 28, 29. Chen Ge was unable to tell whether it was the water that had distorted the sound, but he swore the footsteps had begun to speed up, as if the opposite party was desperately trying to get into the bathroom. Several seconds later, Chen Ge felt like a heavy piece of boulder was falling on top of his chest. The blood vessels on his neck started to pop. His limbs were going weak with cold. His brain was slowing down, and only Chen Ge's determination was making him hold on. Bang! 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 Something slammed into the bathroom door without warning. Chen Ge felt like his heart was in a vice. The thing outside the door had lost its patience. The opponent gave up after slamming the door a few more times. Perhaps it was the doll behind the door that had saved Chen Ge again. Silence returned to the room. Everything reverted to normal, or as normal as it could have been considering the circumstances. Normally, Chen Ge could easily hold his breath for a minute, but the footsteps from the corridor and the slamming on the doors had broken his composure. The degree of oxygen exhaustion increased when an animal was in distress. He knew he was reaching his limit. The last wisp of oxygen inside his lungs had been depleted. Every second was torment. 39. 40. When he counted to 40, Chen Ge's brain started to shut down. He had lost the ability to even keep the countdown going. If he allowed the little focus that he had left to waver, Chen Ge was sure he would drown. The sense of asphyxiation blotted out his thoughts, and all that remained in his head were his childhood memories with his parents. A vein was pulsing weakly on Chen Ge's neck, and his hands that held the cleavers started to relax. He felt himself drifting toward the edge of death, and it was not until then that he truly understood the meaning of that sentence inside the mission description. It can allow you to bypass the line between the living and the dead, giving you the opportunity to see those who have unfortunately passed away. What it really meant was, as night changed into day, those on the brink of death could peer into the other world. Chen Ge stared unblinkingly at the surface of the water. His pupils were dilated, and it felt like he was pulling away from the surface. However, he could not see anything or anyone other than darkness, a darkness that was so quiet and yet filled with so much despair. The feeling of one's lungs being squeezed by an invisible hand was a sensation that could not be put into words. No, if I stay down here any longer, I really will die in this bathtub. He believed he had survived half a minute already, and the people that Chen Ge wanted to see had not appeared. He had given up hope, or rather, he was glad that his parents did not appear. This meant that they were still alive. His arms touched the cold surface of the bathtub's bottom. Using the last vestige of rationality, Chen Ge decided it was time to give up. His arms increased in strength to push himself out of the water when Chen Ge felt something was wrong. Something was pressing down on his head, stopping him from coming up to the surface. His dilated pupils focused to one point as Chen Ge looked up, but there was nothing there. The dolls had sealed the door and the area surrounding the bathtub. The mirror monster should not have been able to come in, so who was behind this? More veins started to pop on Chen Ge's neck. His face was pretty much lifeless. At the very last minute, he used the last trace of energy in his body to grip the cleaver and wave it above his head. The extended period of oxygen deprivation had pushed his body and spirit to their limits. Like a string pulled taut, they could snap at any moment. The cleaver cut through the surface, causing the water to splash all around. Chen Ge felt like he made contact with something, and he heard a crisp snap beside his ears before the mysterious force above his head suddenly disappeared. Without hindrance, Chen Ge sat up in the bathtub immediately, gasping for air as he broke the surface. Chapter 43. Mission complete. Chilling water slid down Chen Ge's hair. He was reeling from the fact that he had come so close to death. His chest was pumping unevenly, his lips turning from pale to purple, his hands still gripping the cleavers. He felt more collected 2 minutes later, and the lightheadedness dissolved. Wiping the water droplets from his face, Chen Ge stood up unsteadily from the bathtub. With the weak light of the candle, he could see that nothing had changed inside the bathroom. I swear I managed to cut something earlier. There was that snap, too. Chen Ge looked around him and saw a cut left on the edge of the tub. Did I accidentally cut the tub? That shouldn't be it. There was definitely someone holding my head down in the water earlier, and the cleaver should have cut that person. Desperate to know the truth, Chen Ge climbed out of the tub to grab the phone that was still recording. He stopped the recording and replayed it from the start. At 3:30 a.m., I sat inside the bathtub, and nothing happened on screen until 3:43 a.m. Chen Ge leaned against the wall as his eyes glued themselves to the screen. At 3:44 a.m., he lay down in the tub, causing the water to overflow. Looking at it from another perspective, this does look rather creepy. When he was doing this in person, Chen Ge did not feel like it was all that odd. But looking at it through the camera's lens, there was something chillingly bizarre about this. Chen Ge glanced at the timestamp. For the initial 20 seconds after he submerged himself, everything was normal inside the bathroom. There was the occasional sound of water dripping. 10 seconds later, Chen Ge frowned. The video that was playing on screen was showing a different reality than he remembered. Based on his memory by then, the footsteps should have been heard from the corridor, but it was absolutely peaceful on the screen. The audio did not pick up anything weird, definitely no sound of footsteps. 5 seconds later, the door slamming that Chen Ge remembered clearly also did not show up on screen. All that was captured on the video was the darkened surface of the water and the dancing candlelight. The footsteps and door slamming were all parts of my hallucination. When 50 seconds had passed, the originally peaceful water surface was disturbed by a copious amount of air bubbles. It was obvious that the Chen Ge in the video was close to his limits. However, right then, something happened on the screen that made chills crawl all over Chen Ge's body. There was a piece of shattered mirror the size of a palm lying beside the bathtub. Its surface started to cloud over like it had been swallowed by a dark fog. Eventually, a black shadow slowly extended itself from it. It leaned against the tub. The scene was definitely supernatural. Based on its build and features, it looked like Hei Feng. The number of air bubbles started to increase, and the video was about to reach its climax. In the video, Chen Ge's body and mind were tested to their limits already, and he was about to give up. Chen Ge could see himself inside the tub moving upwards. However, just as his head was about to break the surface, the black shadow beside the tub suddenly reached out with both of its hands to press on his head. The shock caused water to stream into Chen Ge's nostrils, choking the man alive. Chen Ge struggled vehemently as the cleavers in his hands waved frantically above. The black shadow flickered like an image on an old television. The cleavers affected him, but only slightly. At the most crucial moment, the rag dolls that were placed around the bathtub started to teeter like they were being blown by winds. The smallest among them tipped over and used its body to block the palm-sized mirror piece completely. The black shadow's body started to blur. It was then that Chen Ge's cleaver inadvertently made contact with its head, and the shadow disappeared. The cleaver flew out of Chen Ge's grasp, and before it landed on the floor, it scratched the edge of the bathtub, leaving a light mark. Almost at the same time, Chen Ge burst through the water surface. The video ended then. After knowing the truth, the desire within Chen Ge's heart to demolish that creature intensified. The thing has to be vanquished. Chen Ge saved the video and picked up the rag doll that was lying on top of the mirror. The small girl's back had been cut by the sharp edge of the mirror, and her body was drenched. They're both existence from the other side, but their personalities are completely different. Some of them are just in it for the scare, and they're good at heart, while others harbor nothing but malice. Chen Ge dried his body and put on his clothes. He placed all the dolls inside his pocket, and it was then that he felt better. Shattering the mirrors is useless. It can still crawl out of the mirror, so how am I supposed to deal with a creature like this? The thing can appear and disappear at will and can't be found. I'm at a natural disadvantage dealing with things like this. Chen Ge picked up the palm-sized mirror out of curiosity, but he was shocked to realize the water droplets on it seemed to be moving with a will of their own. They trailed across the surface, forming a number, 3. Is this a taunt from the monster? 3, representing He-san, He-feng, and myself? Or will it kill me within 3 days? Chen Ge had no clue what the number meant, but he was certain it wouldn't be anything good. Then again, do you really think I am afraid of you? One of these days I'll yank you out of the mirror and put you out in the sun to scorch you alive. Chen Ge came up with the worst curse he could think of. He had come so close to dying earlier. After taking another deep breath, Chen Ge went to pick up the black phone. He did not have much anticipation, but when he saw the message that appeared on screen, his eyes lit up. The Spectre's favored. You managed to hold your breath for 62 seconds. Congratulations for completing the nightmare mission. Obtain the mission reward. Yin-Yang Vision. Yin-Yang Vision. See through the line that blurs between the two worlds. Use the Yang body to observe the Yin presence. A great upgrade to one's vision, other function currently unknown. Notice, you have completed 2 Nightmare Daily missions. After completing the 3rd Nightmare mission, it will randomly unlock the trial mission for one of the scenarios. Completed 3 consecutive missions with more than a 95% completion rate, unlocking new feature, My Friends from the Other Side, Affection Status. After reading through the series of messages, Chen Ge did not know what he should feel. The requirement of the nightmare mission was for him to hold his breath for 60 seconds. Due to the outside disturbance, he had already planned to surrender at around 50 or so seconds, and he would have failed the mission. However, the desire of the mirror monster to kill him had forced him to hold on for an additional few seconds, allowing him to complete the mission with a very close success. In a way, the appearance of the mirror monster was a blessing in disguise, because in the end, the result was positive. Chen Ge went through the black phone and realized how crucial this nightmare mission was. If he had failed the mission, not only would he not have earned the mission reward, the unlocking of the new scenario would have been delayed, and most importantly, the new function of the phone would not have been unlocked. Compelled by curiosity, Chen Ge clicked the new tab open. The interface changed, and 5 unfamiliar names appeared on screen. Chapter 44. Reviews. Current affection levels: Qin Guoheng, lingering spirit. Unfamiliar. You two can't be considered friends. He was helping you out of kindness. Du Ruo Shui, lingering spirit. Unfamiliar. Qin Munan, lingering spirit. Unfamiliar. Qin Xiaoxiao, baleful specter. Slightly favorable opinion. You've managed to attract her attention. To her, you are slightly closer than a stranger. Zhang Ya, red specter. Crazy about you. You are a unique presence to her. She likes you, but only after you're dead. To increase the affection level, you could expose them to the screams of visitors that are wealthy with negative feelings, gift them presents that contain malice points, or complete their bloody heart mission. When the affection level reaches a certain point, they will selectively listen to your orders. Warning: only specters with deep malice and a dark history will be able to provide you with a bloody heart mission. Completing the mission will greatly increase the affection level and will give you the power to get them to help you complete something that isn't against their will. The new feature gave Chen Ge a deeper understanding of his friends. He removed the smallest doll from his pocket. This doll did not look that much different from the other dolls, at least physically, but the phone app had set her apart. She was the sole baleful specter among the family of lingering spirits. Something like you can be considered a baleful spirit? Chen Ge poked Xiaoxiao's cheek with his finger. Xiaoxiao, who was raised into the air, seemed to be a bit angry. She gave Chen Ge the impression of a little kitten who hadn't been weaned from milk, gnashing her teeth in a show of aggression. I suppose this is an accidental discovery. If Qin Xiaoxiao was the kind and gentle presence among the baleful specter, then Zhang Ya was the complete opposite. In fact, this was the first time Chen Ge had come across the term red specter. What exactly is the difference between a normal baleful specter and a red specter? Chen Ge tried to click on Zhang Ya's name, and the screen changed to reveal a blood-red interface. Are you sure you want to accept Zhang Ya's bloody heart mission? Warning! This mission contains a certain level of danger. The blood-red interface caused cold sweat to appear all over Chen Ge's forehead. But the phone says only specters with exceptionally deep malice and a dark history will be able to provide me with a bloody heart mission. Am I that lucky? To be able to win such a prize from my first draw? Actually, that was not the end of Chen Ge's thoughts on the matter. He thought to himself, if that's the case, I'd rather give up on such luck. However, afraid of how Zhang Ya might have reacted if she heard it, he kept it to himself. Crazy about me, but only after I'm dead? If that's not twisted, I don't know what is. After exiting the app, the fear brought on by the mirror monster had completely disappeared. Compared to the prize he had gotten from the Wheel of Misfortune, the shadow inside the mirror was nothing. However, this did not mean that Chen Ge would let it go. In contrast, Chen Ge had made it a threat that had to be removed no matter what. Only by removing it would the haunted house be safe. Unlocking my friends from the other side provided Chen Ge with more options. From how he saw it, this feature was to set up the foundation for the haunted house's spectral workers. As more features of the game got released, Chen Ge's interest in it increased. After gaining an understanding of the new feature, Chen Ge turned to inspect his second reward, Yin-Yang Vision. The reward from nightmare missions would provide him with a personal upgrade. Chen Ge tried to look into the distance, but other than the ability to see slightly clearer in the dark, this Yin-Yang Vision did not seem to have any other uses. Perhaps this power requires a special environment to trigger, just like Mortician's makeup. Chen Ge picked up a random mirror fragment from the floor and put it before his face. Physically speaking, there was not any noticeable change to his pair of eyes. They were similar to before. From the description, yin-yang vision should grant me the ability to see stuff that normal people wouldn't be able to see, but... Chen Ge raised Xiaoxiao to his eyes, but he saw nothing but a normal rag doll. Am I using it wrong, or is there a specific method to using the power? Chen Ge came up with nothing after some more trials, so he decided to put it on the back burner for now. Working his limbs, which had gone numb, Chen Ge stretched inside the bathroom. Then he sat down inside the bathroom to edit his latest video. I've suffered so much. I wouldn't be able to face myself in the morning if I didn't share it with the world. He uploaded the original video onto the Supernatural forum. It was 4 a.m., so Chen Ge didn't expect any responses. However, the moment the new video was released, there was already a new comment. Hello. Is this a game to attract ghosts? Lying inside the bathroom at midnight will call out the spirits? Chen Ge glanced at the first comment and was shocked to realize it came from the forum moderator. He contemplated it for a while before adding the game rules and descriptions under the video and editing the name of the video to "Why would someone voluntarily drown himself in his bathtub at home?" 2 minutes later, the comment floodgate had been opened. Chen Ge's account had garnered quite a following already on the forum. In fact, some of the users who were already asleep were woken up by their friends just to take a look at the video. Lying inside a filled bathtub at 3:30 a.m. alone. Even with the lights on, I wouldn't dare do that. This new video seems to be even more supernatural than the previous one. What the fuck is the shadow squatting beside the bathtub? Did you hear anything or see anything out of the ordinary under the water? Boss, please reply. The bathroom is the place with the heaviest yin energy of the entire building, and the bathtub is a sort of hollow where yin energy normally gathers. In feng shui, we call this wa. OP dares to play such a crazy game at a place like this. No wonder he stumbled across dirty stuff. To linger at the line between life and death as the night changes into day. Probably only a madman could come up with an idea like this, and only a madman would follow through with it. There were a few informational replies on the forum. Chen Ge gave them a cursory read, and similar to before, he did not reply. Instead, he logged out to start editing the video footage. He cut out his final struggle at the end of the video, and the product he ended up with was 63 seconds long. For short videos, the best were those that were shorter but had more shock value. However, Chen Ge went against the grain this time. He uploaded a video that was 63 seconds long and named it 1 Minute Holding Breath Challenge. After releasing the video, those who followed Chen Ge were notified, and some already commented without watching the video. What is this? Even a drinking challenge would be more interesting than this. Is this some new challenge? I'm going to give it a try, too. It's all over. The host's talent has run out. What the fuck? What is that thing I saw lying beside the tub? Get the fuck out of my phone. Chapter 45. Someone is trying to kill me. 1 minute after the video was posted, Chen Ge's comment section exploded again. The shadow leaning against the tub 56 seconds in is a special effect, right? It seems to crawl up from underneath the tub. The person waving the cleavers in the video is the host himself? Someone get him an Oscar. If the black shadow had held on any longer, host wouldn't be with us anymore. Fuck this shit. I was trying to hold my breath as I started the video, but this thing popped up halfway. Run while you still can. The host only shares ghost videos. Run and don't look back. After staring at my phone for a full minute, I realized I am not going to sleep tonight. After your last video, I didn't dare look at the mirror anymore, and after this video, I won't dare take a bath alone anymore. Heartless host, taste this pile driver from me. Chen Ge was glad that his video had such a good reception, even though it was 4 a.m. Feeling the love his fans had for him, he realized everything was worth it. Before closing the video app, Chen Ge did not forget to put up an advertisement for his haunted house. The fans were quick to respond, leaving messages saying they would visit him with some local delicacies, buying tickets to visit the haunted house, and on top of that, wanting to gift me local delicacies. The visitors today sure are nice. After Chen Ge exited the app, he felt much better. He stretched lazily once more and left the murder by midnight scenario, hugging the 5 dolls to his chest. The night soon passed, and dawn arrived. The sky outside the haunted house started to brighten. Chen Ge found several wooden planks from the props room. He nailed them entrance and the trap door that was connected to the murder by midnight scenario. Before he dealt with the mirror monster, he did not plan to use that scenario. 20 a ticket, and murder by midnight can fit 7 visitors at one time. If one run is counted as 15 minutes, I'll be able to gain a profit of 560 RMB per hour. One day's work is 8 hours, so that translates to more than 4,000 RMB. The thought squeezed Chen Ge's heart with pain, but he was not blinded by greed. Safety's first. There'll be more to earn after future scenarios are unlocked. After sealing up the scenario, Chen Ge returned to the staff break room. He placed the dolls beside his bed and changed into his running attire. The trial mission reminded Chen Ge of the fact that if not for his occasional training, he would have been buried under the ground then. Xu Wan arrived for work at around 8:40 a.m. She was surprised to see Chen Ge around the corner with his head full of sweat. In her mind, her boss was not someone who was into exercising. The gate of the haunted house swung open, signifying the arrival of a new workday. The 2 workers stood at their assigned posts, ready to start the operation. At 9 a.m., the visitors started to enter the park, but the entrance of the haunted house was still quite empty. It was the most vacant spot of all the attractions inside New Century Park. "Boss, what did you do inside the haunted house last night? Why are there water puddles all over the place?" "I was moping the floor." Chen Ge gave a random excuse before adding, "When you are acting as a ghost, remember to stay far away from any mirrors." "Why?" Chen Ge was about to explain it to her when he saw Uncle Shu, the park manager, walking toward them. "Uncle Shu, is there a problem?" Chen Ge removed the ear mic. He realized Uncle Shu did not have a very pleased expression. "You are just getting weirder by the days." Uncle Shu studied Chen Ge up and down. "Just now, the people from the canteen came to me to report that they are missing their cleavers. I was just wondering which thief would be so odd to only steal 2 cleavers. After looking at the surveillance, I have just one question to ask. Why weren't you asleep at night but snuck into the canteen to steal their cleavers? Is it that fun running around waving 2 cleavers?" Uncle Shu reminded Chen Ge that the cleavers he had taken from the canteen were still left inside the bathtub. "I just helped the police solve an open case, right? But one of the killers is still missing, so the cleavers are for self-protection. Don't worry, I'll buy the canteen new cleavers tomorrow." Chen Ge had no clue whether blades that had touched a ghost before could still be used for culinary purposes, so he didn't think it was wise to return the cleavers to Uncle Shu. "It's getting harder and harder to understand you. Kid, tell me honestly, are you involved in some illegal dealings behind my back?" "What kind of illegal dealings can I get into with 2 cleavers? I'm not doing anything criminal, Uncle Shu, don't worry." Uncle Shu was only half convinced. However, since the park had just opened for the day, he had too many things to deal with to get into it with Chen Ge. He took a step closer to Chen Ge and pulled out a tightly wrapped plastic case from his pocket. "Here is 5,000. If you have any trouble, please come to me." "Uncle Shu, thank you so much. I'll return you the money this weekend." "Just stop making trouble for me. That'll be more than enough repayment." After Uncle Shu left, Chen Ge shoved the money inside his shirt. He leaned against the gate, thinking about how to utilize this money. 5,000 should be just enough to install some cameras. However, the interior space of the haunted house is now all occupied. I'll need to expand before I can unlock new scenarios. Renting the underground parking lot is not a bad idea, but I wonder how much the management will charge me. Chen Ge had a mounting headache from the many problems he realized he was facing. "The biggest problem I have is a lack of money. The reward money is still nowhere to be seen. Should I try to hurry them?" He turned to look in the direction of the police station. When his gaze scanned a certain corner, his pupils narrowed and his gaze centered on a curious visitor. The man was wearing a cap low on his head and a long-sleeved top with 2 hands stuck inside his pockets. He wandered between several attractions, as if deciding which one he should try. That person looked so familiar. Due to yin-yang vision, Chen Ge's vision was better than most. The person probably did not know he had been exposed. Shall I go stop him? Just as Chen Ge was contemplating that, he had a group of visitors who wanted to visit the haunted house. He threw himself into work, and the suspicious visitor was thus tossed out of his mind. When Shu Wan and Chen Ge were about to go for their lunch break, he once again spotted the suspicious man loitering near the haunted house. The man hasn't come near the haunted house the whole morning, but he came over just as me and Shu Wan are planning to go for lunch. What is he up to? Chen Ge had Shu Wan leave first. He returned to the haunted house. When the visitor noticed his return, he turned around and left the park without even turning back. Have I seen him somewhere before? Chen Ge's eyelid twitched, a sign of a bad omen. Chen Ge decided to skip lunch and headed for the park security center. After getting the guard's permission, he went to search for this suspicious visitor's footage. It was quite obvious that the man was purposely avoiding the cameras. From his arrival to his departure, the man had kept his hands inside his pockets. Even when he stopped for a smoke break, he had only used one hand to light the cigarette that he kept dangled on his lips. However, the most suspicious part was that after paying for entry, he only rode one attraction. That was the Ferris wheel, and he rode it 3 times in a row. This person is definitely suspicious.